Okie dokie, let's go ahead and run this for loop and see what happens. So here, I'm just gonna run this and we have a problem. So have a look. So here, we've got 1, 1, 1, and then 2, 2, 3, 5, 10, and then oops, there is a problem in here. There is a problem, and in here, so with every single problem, you actually are given the line where the problem occurred. So if I click on this main.java and then colon and then 7, so I'm going to click on that, you can see that this takes me straight into line 7. But here, find why I could be 0. So are you still thinking what is wrong? Well, the problem is that we cannot divide by 0. We cannot divide by 0. So here it's telling me to find y, but I know why. It's because of greater or equal. So here, if I just basically put greater only, run this, you can see that this works, right? And the program exits with status code and then 0. Remember this? Now, if I put this back, run this, you should see that we have an error. So exception in thread, and I'll come back to this in a second, but then process finished with exit code and then 1, meaning that there was a problem. Now in here, Java lang arithmetic exception. What is this? Well, you can see that Java lang dot arithmetic exception, and if I move to the right, you can see that it says division by 0. So this is the actual problem in here. So we cannot divide by 0, as you know. So how do we actually solve this problem? Well, this is what exception handling allows us to solve, where we kind of have to anticipate potential problems with our code. Now, towards the end of this section, you'll learn about the difference between exception types, i.e. runtime exceptions and check exceptions. But for now, I want you to remember that you cannot divide by 0. If you try, then you'll have a problem. Similarly, let's just ignore this for a second. So in here, if I say, for example, integer dot and then parse int, so here you've seen this before. So if I say 1, this works. So if I just extract this to a variable, and then I'm going to say a number, for example, south number, and let me just comment this for now. So I want you to see that here, this works. We have 1 in here, right? Because we've managed to parse this string into a number. Now, if I say, for example, 1x, have a look. We have yet another error or another exception. So this time is number. So from Java lang number format exception for input string. You can see it says 1x, meaning that we cannot convert this string into an integer. So this is not a valid number. Now we need to know how we're going to handle scenarios like this, right? Because sometimes we might not even have control of this input. So this might be a user input, or it might be a bug in our application, but yet we don't want our application to just crash and not be responsive. So there are ways that we can tackle this by using the exception handling mechanism that Java has to offer.